Today we're reviewing the Canon 22mm STM lens for the mirrorless camera line. Hi guys, my name is Camilo and welcome to DKD21 Media once again. The Canon 22mm STM lens is one of the very few lenses available for the mirrorless camera line. We're going to go through the pros and cons of this lens and see whether it's worth getting. So, when you first get your lens, it comes with a few instructions. You don't really need them. My first impression was that it was tiny. It measures 4.5 centimeters in height with a 60mm diameter, and the inner ring diameter is 43mm. Now the first impression was that it had a very smooth zoom ring, which was good when you want to pull focus. Another first impression was that it was quite heavy for its size, much more dense than the kit lens counterpart. So onto some tech stuff. The lens itself is really fast at f2. And at the time of this video, it is the second fastest lens, the first being this one, which came out quite recently. Thanks Canon. This means that the lens can handle really low light scenarios, preventing you from having to increase your ISO. Also, it means you get some creamy looking bokeh in your shots. The focal length itself is somewhat wide, but it's the equivalent to a 35mm lens, which means that if you're a vlogger, you might struggle to get some of the background in frame. You can see with the 15 to 45mm kit lens, I get quite a lot of background, but now with the 22mm, you can see it's quite cropped in. It is the equivalent to 35mm, which is what you would use for body shots or going a little bit tighter than wide. So you can't really use this lens for establishing shots. If you're out there vlogging, you might just want to get a very wide angle lens. One thing I do get a lot from people is that the 22mm doesn't have image stabilization, so they're worried about getting it. As you can see in this comparison, I have the kit lens with image stabilization on, and I have the 22mm with electronic stabilization. As Canon doesn't have any in-body stabilization, it only has an electric one. This is the best you're going to get really. And as you can see, it's not too bad. Worst case scenario, you can get yourself a Steadicam, a gimbal, stronger arms, or just use warp stabilizer because that saves the day. One pet peeve I had with this lens, and as you can see, I've found a way to work around it, is that the inner ring diameter is 43mm. So not only do the lids of my other lenses not fit on the 22mm natively, the ND filter that I bought that fits on the kit lens and the 50mm lens does not fit either. So I have to use the stepper ring, which for some reason was not in my massive kit of stepper rings that I bought. But meh. In conclusion, the pros of this lens are that it's very versatile. It can shoot very crisp images, it's very bright, so it's good for shooting video in low light. It's fairly light given that it's made of metal. You can produce great separation between the background and subject, and it's fairly cheap. I got this for £195, so compared to all the other lenses that you can get, it's pretty darn cheap. However, the cons of this lens are that if you are a vlogger or you shoot the camera pointing towards you, most of the time you're not going to get a lot of your background. Also, if you want to shoot some establishing shots for your videos, it is quite hard to get a nice wide field of view. Another disadvantage is that because it's a prime, you can't zoom in and out, so you might miss some detail if it's too far away. The workaround is that you just have to move around and always get in frame, or you could just crop into something that you've missed out on, but you will lose some quality from that. Lastly, don't get this lens if you plan on switching your camera very soon, because you can't use an EFM lens on other cameras. So I don't think there even is an adapter that goes backwards from EFM to EFS, or to a Sony E mount, or to any other mounts in general. So I would only get this lens if you plan on using the camera that you're going to use it for a long time. So that's the end of the video, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree or disagree with what I said? Do you own the lens? Do you think it's good? Do you think it's worth the investment? And don't forget to subscribe. I have a lot of videos coming out soon, such as how to balance a Steadicam, how to shoot a video with your phone, and a bunch of others. So stay tuned for that. Cheers.